Hello everybody, Camelia here. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to a new video. Finally, I have a few finished projects to share with you, and because I have my sewing time, including the video making time and all that, all what is sewing related is quite limited this in this period for me because I'm still very busy with the house. So I'm going to put in this video the last projects that I made. And if you have any questions about something in particular, you can always ask me in the comments and I'll be happy to give you more details. So welcome to the channel, welcome back if you're away for a while. I still need to make the video for the new Knipmode magazine. I have in the meantime also the paper version here. I'm going to make it from the digital one, and Buddha still needs to come out. But today I'm going to talk about patterns from indie designers and also from Knipmode. So I'm going to share with you something from designer Stitch, some things from Sew Over It, 2 projects that I made, and 2 projects from Knipmode magazine. So there are quite a few. I'm not going to make it really long. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing to my channel. It's very important, and I always like to read your comments and thumbs up to the video, of course, if you like it. And I hope you like it. If you don't like it, please don't give me thumbs down, because those ones, they are not really helpful. Anyway, I prefer to give me a comment and tell me what you don't like in the video. So with that being said, let's see what I can share with you today. So I'm going to start first with designer Stitch, and I'm sewing now some other stuff from designer Stitch that I cannot share, and I'm also taking it apart. I'm taking part. There are big words taking part in the test, but I'm also sewing one of the things that are getting tested now with designer Stitch, so I will be able to share that in the near future. This dress here, this was actually the pre-test from the latest release, the Bethe dress. And this is really your perfect summer dress. Bethe dress, and I'm going to put, of course, links for all the patterns. I'm going to put links in the video description so you can find them yourselves. And there you can find also, of course, all the information about sizing and all that. Bethe dress from designer Stitch is in the usual sizes from designer Stitch, including cup sizing, so that's really nice. The dress itself, the pattern has a few options for the sleeves. This is one of the shortest sleeves. I think it's this one and another long one. I made this dress a long time ago as a pre-test. In the meantime, I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to put pictures from the shop, because I don't think I have pictures with this dress on, but I've worn this dress a lot, and I'll tell you that I still need to add a drawstring here, but this dress got a lot of wear already. The final dress has this first part of the skirt a little bit shorter. In this pretest, this one is a little bit too long. There are 2 tiers here that, of course, you can make it only with the upper part. You cannot really see a lot, I think, in this print. But of course, you can make it only with the skirt being a little bit gathered because of the elastic in the waist, and maybe make it a little bit longer, or only with 1 tier, or with 2 as a maxi dress, as is this one. So there are really nice options for the skirt. The upper part of the dress has bust darts, of course, for a great fit. There are buttons here in front, and I will say that of course the upper part of the bodice is important to have the buttons in order to be able to because it's not really fitted, but you need to have it open to get it in. And the waist has elastic, so here is not getting open, and then you can definitely make a part of the buttons fake buttonholes. I think you always need to put buttonholes, even if you don't cut them open. But for the rest, down here is nice to have it open in order to be able to let the dress a little bit open. But mine, they are all functional, if I'm not mistaken. I cannot remember anymore. Yes, they can get open. And there are a lot of buttons in this dress, and I think in the original pattern there are even more buttons. I think I didn't have enough of these small buttons. That's why I just split the buttons that I had. I think I have, let's see, 3, 6, 9, must be 16 or something, but I have a little bit lesser. So that's for the front. So bust darts for a great fit. You have the really pretty sleeves. This one, they are really simple. Actually, they have a small hem, and then is elastic sewn here into the sleeve, and you get this little ruching here. Really, really cute. Very easy to make also. I also love the back, because the back, in the back you have a yoke that is cut double, and then you have all these really pretty gathers that are coming from the yoke here down into the waist, and of course you have here the elastic also. I think my doll is just a little bit bigger than I am, but I really, really love this gathered back here from the flat yoke. So that's really, really a pretty detail. So yeah, I highly recommend this for the summer, and I have the new pattern with the adjusted skirt, of course, the final pattern. I still need to tape it together, and that's not the problem, but my time is really, really limited, so I'm trying to fit stuff in. But this is going to be definitely made again, and again I'm going to make it in this really long version because I just love it. It's so flowy and so nice. Love it. So Bethe dress from Designer Stitch. Highly recommend it, and you know me, I'll always highly recommend Designer Stitch patterns, because for me, I know my fit in Designer Stitch patterns. This one is, as usual, my 3B size, and I have, and if you are sewing with, that's really nice, you know, when you are using a pattern company for a long time, you know already your changes, and in Designer Stitch, I know already that I have 3 changes that I always need to make in the patterns. And I'm making those up front. These days I don't even make a toile anymore for Designer Stitch patterns. I know that I need to make a narrow shoulder adjustment, I need to make a sway back adjustment, and to raise the point of the dart by 1 centimeter. And I always make those up front on the pattern pieces, and I know that the pattern is going to fit me. As I do also in Knipmode, the magazine, I have standard changes, actually a little bit the same, that I make them up front, and I know that how the pattern a little bit is going to fit me, so that's really great. So highly recommended the Designer Stitch patterns, and especially the Bethe dress for the summer is just a beautiful, beautiful dress. Okay, next I'm going to talk about 2 makes from Sew Over It. A few weeks ago I was talking about a piece of fabric from Minerva that I was going to use to make a new Farah jumpsuit, and in the meantime they had a new pattern release, the Lori wrap dress, and I'm going to show those to you next. So next I would like to share with you the Lori dress from Sew Over It, and the Farah jumpsuit that I still need to pick it up, I forgot. Anyway, so the Lori dress, this was their release for last month, so let's see, May 2025, and it's a really pretty wrap dress. It's a simple dress, there is not a lot of detail to it, but I will say that of course there are of course some options for it, and that's really nice. It's a really easy to make dress. There are 2 options for the color, and you are going to see some pictures. I'm going to put them here. The pictures of me wearing the dress, where I have the flat color, as you can see here, and in the picture you definitely see it better. And there is another color, and I have it here, which I did not use. And this is a stand-up color that is sitting. Of course, you can see it in the technical drawing. Let's see, where is my center back? Here, that is sitting like this around the neckline. So there are 2 color options. There are also 2 sleeve options. One is the one I made, and I'm going to show you the pattern piece because I mess it up. Let's see. Is this one here, which has a little, what's the name of this? It has a little thing here, it's not a slit. You know, when you sew this up, you are going to have a little, I'm not coming to the word. It doesn't say on it. Well, it has a thingy here at the edge of the sleeve. I don't know what happened. I mean, I know what happened. You know, I was sewing and I was thinking, well, this is not going well. As you can see here, the original pattern, the black line is going like this. And of course, the seam allowance on this is only 1.5 centimeters. But because I did not pay attention, or I don't know, I just followed blindly my line, I did trace on my paper this black line, but actually you should use the 5/8 of an inch seam allowance and then trying to come to this point. but instead of that, I just use this line as a seam allowance, so my little detail here on the sleeve is almost invisible. At one moment I was thinking, well, maybe it was better to even make it completely straight in order to have a nice straight sleeve, but no, I didn't. There is a facing that is helping, of course, with creating this little detail here. So that's how this sleeve is finished. And then is another option for the sleeve for the Lori dress, which is a normal sleeve, and if I'm not mistaken, it's getting gathered also at the top, and then it's also gathered here into the little cuff here. So there are two options for the sleeves. And of course, let's see, there are bust darts here for a nice fit. And it's a true wrap, and the way this is getting wrapped, I will show it to you. This is one of the features. I've seen this feature in also some other dresses. And I really like this one. I have, I think, 2 or 3 more dresses with the same feature from other companies, where the under wrap of the dress, and this is something that you can, of course, you can apply to any other pattern. Most of the time you see that the under wrap is finished somewhere here, about where also the bodice is getting finished. So you have only this as an under wrap on your dress. And of course, if there is a lot of wind or whatever, you have the chance to flash everybody. But these days we see the wrap dresses, and also in this Lori dress, we see that the wrap is going, the bodice, the under wrap of the bodice is stopping somewhere here, a few centimeters from the center front. But then the under wrap of the skirt is going all the way to the side. And then you have here a little tie, and here on the side seam another one, and you get to tie them together, and then this is going to hold the dress in place. I would say I used here some cotton bias cut fabric, but I would say that this is just a little bit too thick, it's too much bulk, and I'm going to take this off, and I'm just going to use some satin ribbon. It's much better. It's just a little bit lesser bulk, you know, when you need to tie everything and you don't get to see it here on the side. And of course, then you get the outside of the dress, and this one, of course, is getting finished at the same place where the bodice is finished. And then you have a tie here and another one on the side seam, and everything is getting nicely tied together. The neckline is getting finished with a facing, so nothing special there. And of course, you need to understitch the facing to the bodice here, and then of course to get everything falling on the inside. The only thing that I noticed is that when I did that, so you put you make the color and you sandwich the color between the bodice and the facing, and then you stitch everything, you understitch, and you turn it to the wrong side. Of course, the color is going to fall nicely like this, but even after understitching, I had the feeling that everything was trying to flip out or something like that. It was not sitting really nicely. So what I did to fix that, I just, of course you cannot see, and even if I take this out, you will not be able to see because of the print, but I did come then from the outside, and I top stitched from the point here where the color is starting, from here all the way around the neckline, and then I stopped exactly here underneath, so you cannot see it when the color is sitting nicely folded, you cannot see it. So top stitched around, I think 3 millimeters away from the where the color is inserted, stitched around, and now it's sitting really, really nicely. As a fabric, I used for this one a viscose jacquard, which is a little bit more heavy. In my idea, this is more like a viscose satin jacquard. It's a little bit heavier than what you have in a challis, like the one that I use for the Bethe dress. So it's definitely much heavier. It has a little bit, but because this one has no gathers and stuff like that, I was thinking, well, this is going to work perfectly, and it is. It's definitely a great fabric for it. I think this will work also nicely in a linen or in a linen mix. Absolutely. Size-wise, and the back, let's see, the back is just simple. There is not a lot happening here. There are some waist darts here, and also here I did my usual, you know, my doll has a hole here, so it's not very much very nicely fitted, but you'll see pictures of me wearing this. I did, of course, my usual adjustments of soy back adjustment, the 1 centimeter for the narrow shoulder, and I cannot remember, but of course I have the pattern here so we can take a look if I did something with the bust darts. Let's see. Well, yes, I did. You can see here that I raised the point of the bust dart 1 centimeter with the purple line. You can see it there. And of course, screwing up the darts then, because then the bulk of the dart is getting moved also a little bit. Size-wise, usually I'm saying that I'm making a size 12 for sew over it patterns. In this case, and most of the time, I need to bring the waist back to a 10 and then go back to a 12. And I need to do that almost every time. In this case, I was thinking, well, you know, I just need to wrap that a little bit tighter and it's going to help with that extra. I think it's 1 centimeter per side, so in total 2 centimeter per side seam per size. So I just use a straight size 12. Well, of course, you can tie this a little bit tighter and it's going to be okay. But what is happening in this case, and this is actually a really easy adjustment, I'm not going to fuss around to get in here in the waist because it's quite okay. But because it's just a little bit too big for me in the waist, of course, this underlap now is wants to wrap in order to fit, to be able to have it good in place here. Needs to wrap a little bit more or to go more over my side. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to cut this a little bit and make the hem again. I add my ribbon, satin ribbon, as I said, and this is going to be nicely like this, because now it wants to go, in order to have it good tight here on my waist, it needs to go all the way over my side, and that's not good. So that's just because I was lazy to adjust the pattern to go to a size 10 at the waist. You see, when I'm tying this, in order, because maybe the waist on this doll, I think I adjusted to my own waist, needs to be really, is taking also a bit of the fabric, and that's not nice. That's not sitting well. So that's a very easy thing to adjust. You can see it in the picture as in terms of length. That's actually the original pattern, and I am 169, so that's what the original length is. And for the rest, it's a really easy dress to make. It's sitting really good on the body, also when it's a little bit windy, so that's really nice. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. Lorry dress from Sew Over It. Next, I'm going to show you the Farah jumpsuit, and that's a remake. I would like to share with you my latest version of the Farah jumpsuit. Well, it's not like I made a million of these ones, but you know, as I said a few weeks ago, I was telling you that I had this really pretty fabric from Minerva. This is a stretch cotton satin, which is really pretty, very nice fabric with just enough stretch for to use also for pants. So after thinking for weeks what to make with it, or maybe even months, I decided that I wanted to have a new Farah jumpsuit, and I'll put a link to my first Farah jumpsuit, because from Sew Over It also, because there you can I'm talking about all the changes that I made to adjust the pattern. So now I only had to take the pattern and cut it and sew it. Well, with just a few changes. The first Farah jumpsuit that I made, it was also in a cotton stretch, something like that, but with similar stretch. This jumpsuit has some elastic in the waist, and you cannot really see it here because there is getting a channel sewn on the waist, and then you put elastic. You can see here actually how it's sewn. Here you can see a seam. You put the elastic and then you add your button bands. The thing is that you really need to try the jumpsuit on after you put the elastic on, because then if you don't do that and you're adding your button bands, then you have a lot of things to rip out in order to adjust that elastic again. And on the first one, I cannot remember when I made it. Well, years ago. I don't know if it's 5 years. Probably. I don't know anymore. I did probably do the same, but after a while I was finding that it was a little bit too tight, and on that one I did use my 12-10 waist size, but it was a little bit too tight. So, but I think it was more because my elastic was from the beginning too tight, and to take it off, it was a lot of work to undo this, and I did that I think years later because it was just annoying. I really like that jumpsuit, and I wore it a lot, even if it was a little bit tight in the waist. And what is going to happen here, because you have a buttonhole in the waist, and when the thing is buttoned up and you have it on and it's too tight, it's going to pull a lot of stress on that buttonhole. And I'm thinking that even on this one, and this one is definitely not tight, I think I might add something on the inside, like a hook and an eye, to give that buttonhole a little bit more, how should I say, that is not so under stress. So I think that's a good idea, to put something on the inside, really definitely a small hook and eye, to keep this, to take a part of that stretch from the buttonhole. So yeah, if you make this one and you think, well, I'm going to try it on later, just don't do it. Just put the elastic on, put it on, and decide on that thinking about how much width you are going to add with your button bands, definitely. So this one was really easy to make. You see pictures of me wearing this. The only adjustment that I made was to add back to the size 12 also on the sides and a little bit on the hips. So where the first pattern was brought to a 10 on the waist and a little bit to the hips, now I brought everything back to the 12. And also I wanted to have just a little bit more of that blousing effect all over, so I added 1 centimeter to the length of the pattern, and you can see it in the pictures that it has quite a bit of fabric here, and I really like that. For the rest, of course, it's a pity you cannot see all the details, but there are pockets with flaps here, there are pockets with flaps here. I know they are not easy to see, but I know they are there, and you know, if you watch a little bit closer, you can definitely see them. So yeah, I'm really happy with my new Farah jumpsuit. Something else I was thinking when I was making it, because here in Spain now it's really warm. Of course, I'm used, and this is something that I was thinking about these days. I'm used with Dutch summers and German summers, where we have always, I mean, I don't know how warm it's now in the Netherlands. It's about maybe 18 degrees and sometimes it rains. And I'm used to have my summer clothes with most of the time with long sleeves or a little bit longer length. But now here in Spain, we have 30 degrees plus almost every day. So I need to start to think, when I'm making my clothes, to think that most of the time here is going to be much warmer than in the Netherlands where I used to live. So with that in mind, I was thinking for a moment, and I'm still debating on that maybe it's a good idea to make the Farah jumpsuit has a really dropped shoulder and with a piece of sleeve here. So I was thinking this would work also very nice if I was to skip the sleeve and add like a band to finish the armhole, you know, to have it like a cut-on short sleeve. So that's something that I'm not sure yet, but it's something that I definitely can change on this one. It's very easy to take off that sleeve, although there is a lot of really nice top stitching going on here. But yeah, that will be a nice adjustment for this jumpsuit, and I think it will work also nicely to make it as a short, but I'm not going to cut this one to make it as a short, definitely not. No. So yeah, this was the Farah jumpsuit. You can see it in the pictures. I think the fit is great, but I will put the link here for my first try on this one, because there you can see I did make quite a few adjustments because I wanted a little bit more narrow legs, like you can see in the pictures. And of course that was, I remember very well that I had I made a trial for this, of course pants and everything, in order to decide how much width, where to take off, where to add stuff. But it was definitely worth it because I wore that jumpsuit a lot. This one not so much because it's already very warm for it, but it will get definitely a lot of wear too. So yeah, the Farah jumpsuit from So Over It. It's a little bit older pattern, but definitely very recommended. And I do have another jumpsuit that I was wearing wearing these days. I don't know the name. I'll put pictures and a link also. That I think it's a perfect jumpsuit for the summer, definitely. Next, I'm going to show you what I made from Knipmode 7 2025. And I'm going to tell you it's also a jumpsuit, but I didn't make it as a jumpsuit. And another dress from, let's see, from which issue is this one? From March 2025 that I did not get to share here on the channel. The last two projects that I want to share with you today. Both of them, they are made with Knipmode magazine patterns, and the first one is a little bit older one and is the cover dress, or actually the other one is also the cover garment. For this one is the cover garment from March 2025, or actually they call it issue 3 2025, which is this really pretty dress here. And I'm going to try to, let's see, oh yeah, here you can definitely see it better. Here you can see the technical drawing of it. As you can see, it has a pretty high neckline. You can see it here on this girl. It has some pleats here on the waist, front and back, and from the front you insert the two ties into those pleats and then going to the back. The back pleats, they are just sewn, and I'm going to show them to you in a moment on the inside of the dress, how they are made. It's also a cut-on design, a cut-on sleeve design. It has a little bit of a cut-on shoulder sleeve, I should say. And it has some really, well, really not very, but you can see the side slits here, which are really nice. The only thing that it was not bothering me, but it was worrying me, is the neckline on this dress. You can see it here. Here is coming a little bit to the front, or is gaping a little bit, while here is sitting just a little bit better. I have the feeling that in this one, it might have been sewn nicely because it's used ribbing, or maybe just this jersey was a little bit better. But I didn't want a neckline so high, so I have here my dress, and for this one I have also pictures. I'm going to put pictures on somewhere here on the screen. This is also a dress that I really love to wear. I have it here, and I made my dress in what is this? In a ponte knit, which I had for many years in my stash. I will put also a picture with the same fabric used for a camellia dress from designer Stitch, which is really old, but I love that dress too. This was a really nice fabric to work with. I cannot remember where I bought this, but this is how my neckline is looking now. So I think I made a size M, if I'm not mistaken. That's about the size that I'm in the Knipmode patterns. Let's see. You might remember that I'm always saying that Knipmode magazine doesn't have seam allowances included. Remember that, very important. Let's see, it's dress 29. I just want to see what is the size. I'm always, you know, they have two different size ranges. They have the sizes from S to triple XL, or the ones from 34 to 54, I think, or 56, some of them. The only thing is that when the sizes are with the S, M, L, and so on, I'm between the sizes a little bit, between the S and the M, and I'm trying to find my way. In this one, there were the sizes 34 to 54, and if I remember correctly, I made a size 38. But you can see the neckline here, how it's looking, and to be honest, I think this is the original neckline. I only, I think so. I skipped that band around the neckline, and I just used a piece of the fabric cut on the greatest stretched and bound the neckline, and this is what I got. I think it's this neckline, as I have it here, as you can see it in the pictures, is much more fitted for this design. I don't know why. Of course, this could be also very easy made in a top, and they have it also as a top here. You can see top number 30, where they skipped, of course, those pleats, and that's also possible for this dress, so just make it long without those pleats. And the pleats, they are a bit confusing, I must say, that when you read, you think, what? But this is how the pleat is looking on the inside. You can see that I used some red Burda tracing paper. This is how the pleat is looking on the inside. Just stitched. And that's the one with the, here you can see it a little bit better, I hope. Let's see. You can see the pleat here and the pleat here, and it's stitched, I think, on the, let's see. Can you imagine? I don't even know how I did this. Let's see. I don't know. You make the pleat, you put the fabric both sides together, and then you press it open with the middle of the pleat here, and then I think you stitch in the ditch from the other side. I guess so. I stitched so well I cannot even see it. Yes, and then you stitch in the ditch. I cannot even see that. I think that's what I did here. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. If you really want to know, I can check that and explain it in a comment, definitely. So yeah, this dress really fun to make. For the sleeves, they also had a kind of a cuff. I used a little bit of the same piece of fabric cut on the greater stretch. Of course, I used here pontinite, and this is not unraveling of whatever. So I let it a little bit wide like this. So when I'm wearing the dress, it does look like it's a little bit of a cuff, but actually it's just that band that is turned to the inside. So very, very easy to make. I love this one. I have here the, let's see, you can see here the pleats, which are top stitch. I use my cover stitch machine to make the hem on this dress. Very, very nice and very comfortable, of course, being made in pontinite. Well, the last pattern that I wanted, oh, and from the same dress they made in the magazine, of course, also, let's see, a really simple skirt here. The last pattern that I want to show with you is the cover pattern from the latest Knipmode from, let's see, number 7, 2025. Well, this is, as you can see it here, this is made as a jumpsuit, and for this one, if I'm not mistaken, they use a viscose, a really pretty viscose. Let's see, page 9. And you can see it here. Actually, there are quite a few jumpsuits, well, 2, 3 in this issue. You can see here the technical drawing, how it's looking. The only thing that I was wondering is why they did those pleats here on the bodies, that they are not a little bit in line with the darts. I'm not sure what was the idea there, but I think if I was to make the jumpsuit as it is as a jumpsuit, I'll break those pleats a little bit more to the bust side here, and that would bring them also a bit more to the in line with the darts on the pants. I'm not sure why they did that. Also in the back you can see, and it's not only the drawing that is like that, but they are indeed a little bit more to the side. This is really nice. It has actually, you can see that it has a little bit of a cowl here going on in the front. You can see it here also. There is a zipper going on in the back. The back of the neckline is finished with the facing and the shorts, of course, and you have also pockets for the shorts, for the pants part. Also very cut-on sleeve here, definitely very wide. And I'm not sure if they made more of this one. Oh yeah, you can see it here, and here you can see those splits a little bit more to the side here. And the pants, I think it's a very nice fit also on this girl. Really, really beautiful in this blue. This is a viscose satin, very nice. And I must say that also from what I can see in the pants, how the pants are cut, the pattern, there is not a lot of volume there going on. But I will tell you in a minute. I will tell you in a minute what I did with mine. You'll see pictures of me wearing what I made, because I didn't make the jumpsuit. I don't know why. Maybe because I was thinking, well, I'm going to. I will tell you why. I was looking for fabric in my stash, and I was thinking, well, what should I use? What should I use? Because I have so many options. And in the end, when I opened my one of the doors here, I saw this fabric. This is what they call a travel jersey. So it's one of those, yes, I know it's polyester, it's synthetic, whatever. But it feels, I will tell you that I wore this all day, and it feels, even with the warmth outside, it feels really not warm. I had this in my stash for quite a while, so I was thinking, you know, I'm going to make it work for this fabric. Well, first of all, the pattern itself is made for wovens, and this fabric is, of course, it's a knit. It has quite a bit of stretch in the width, a lot, but why I tried, or why I was convinced that it's going to work, is the fact that it has almost no stretch in the length. And of course, if you make a pair of pants, like in this case, and the pattern is made for wovens, and I was going to use a really stretchy fabric like a viscose jersey that has also a lot of vertical stretch, of course that was a big mistake, because otherwise, because that's going to grow and it's going to give a total different fit. But in this case, having no stretch almost in the, it has almost no stretch in the length, I think I'm going to be okay. For width, because this has of course much more stretch than a viscose challis, let's say, or a satin, I was not worried about, because anyway the jumpsuit had elastic in the way, so it had a little bit of a lot of width. And also for the top itself, I knew that it's not going to be a problem, it's going to be really okay. You can see it in the picture how it's looking on me. And I'm going to show you the, so in the end I ended up making a top and a pants and a pair of pants. I added, to be sure that I'm going to have enough length for the hem and to be able to stuck it into the pants to make it look like a jumpsuit if I want. You can see it in the picture also like that. I added about 4 centimeters, and actually it was better to add maybe 1 centimeter more, but I think it's looking okay. Here you can see I use, what size did I use? I used a size M, and here you can see this is the front. And I will try to find a picture. I did take a picture with the adjustment that I made here. First of all, I cut the pattern pieces from the, especially for the top as it was, with of course with the added length here, because I was very worried about this part here. I was thinking, well, this is going to be really low, and having something with so much volume, it doesn't says that it's also going to be very comfortable, because if a sleeve is so low cut here, you are going to take everything with you when you are raising up your hands. So I did cut it first as per pattern, but later, and baste it and try it on, but later I did took quite a bit of here, I think maybe 1.5 centimeter. So the armhole got also a little bit higher and a little bit narrower, and coming to nothing here, to the original size at the waist. Here you can see that little cowl piece that is getting turned to the inside, so it's like a cut-on facing, and then you get that waterfall effect like you can see in the pictures. I did not add any seam allowance to the hem here, so what you see in the pictures is the original minus 2 centimeters for the hem here for the sleeve, because I was thinking I don't want to have really long sleeves. Yeah, and here is the back, and also for the back you can see I used some painter's tape to adjust my patterns, because I didn't have my real tape next to me. As you can see, I have all kinds of stuff laying around from the house. Of course, here I had to make the same adjustment to fit with the front. I have here the sway back adjustment of 1.5 centimeters, and I used a size S for the length, also because Knipmode magazine, they are drafting for 1.72 m, and I am 169, so I took a little bit from the length there. And here on the original pattern has of course center back seam in order to add that zipper to get into your jumpsuit, but I cut this on the fold and I used the S line here, because I know that I'm not so big in my back, so I used the S line. It's only maybe 4 millimeters that is making the difference, as you can see here. So those were the changes for the back of the bodice. Here you can see the front pieces, and as you can see there are darts here going on. Oh, I wanted to show you, 1 second, I wanted to show you the pleats. Here you can see how the pleats are really very much to the side going on here. It's quite a big pleat here, but you know, in my case, because I just let the top wide as it was, it's not important. But I think if I was to make the jumpsuit, I will definitely adjust that pleat to be, I don't know, maybe in a better place than what we can see in the technical drawing. Here we can see the front of the of the pants. Of course, you have also a pocket piece. I have it here somewhere. Yes, here is the pocket piece. I did not put pockets in this one. You have here the darts. I skipped the darts because, you know, I was thinking I'm going to put elastic in the complete pant. And here you can see, of course, you can see it in the pictures how it's fitting. I don't know. I think maybe it was better to add those darts to take a little bit width away. And I'm thinking now, I did add to these ones here, I did add about 1 centimeter from here, 1 centimeter coming up. I don't know if it was necessary. I like the fit. The fit is really, really great. And here you can see my really small pair of shorts. And I have 1.5 centimeter hem allowance for the pants, but I ended up, I think, turning about 4 centimeters. I think that has to do also with that length thing, that I'm a little bit shorter than what Knipmode is designing for. And because I could not find the back and the front, I decided to add a little bit of fabric as a little tab. So these are the pants. For the top, well, this is really a project that you can make in maybe 1.5 hours. Just really, really easy, very fast. Here you can see how it's looking. I skipped that facing on the back because, you know, I have no zipper, it's not necessary. I skipped the facing. I just bumped the edge, and this is how that little facing is hanging. I did not finish the edge because, again, I used a knit, and it's not necessary. It's just a lot of bulk, unnecessary bulk otherwise. And this is how it's hanging now on the inside. I think it's a really pretty, very, very easy to make top. So I'm you know, I was sewing this because, of course, making it in a knit and going with the serger really fast, I was thinking this feels like cheating, you know, and I have no zipper and I'm using a knit, and, you know, it's going to be really easy to use it because everybody's complaining that when you go to the toilet you need to get undressed for half. Yeah, so it felt like cheating, but in the end it felt really nice when I had, after 1.5 hours of sewing, a pant and a top, and definitely I can wear these ones also as separate. No big deal there. So yeah, so this was my make of for this issue of Knipmode. You can see here a little bit of an overview of all the patterns. I'm going to make the full video and we can take a look. There is also a bathing suit and a bikini, as you can see there, and more jumpsuits and a bag and a dresses. You know, there is a lot in this issue, but we'll take a look in another video, of course. So this was everything that I had to share. 6 projects. Again, they are not all from a week. I did some of them, like that one is really old. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really curious if you like something from what I made. I'm really happy with all these things. They are getting a lot of wear because I really love them, and because the weather is so nice here, I can enjoy short sleeves and shorts and stuff like that. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time here on the channel. Thumbs up, subscribe, and leave a comment. Always nice to read your opinions. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.